Yeah. The Philadelphia 76ers lose to the Atlanta Hawks in double overtime on a Sunday. They made an unbelievable comeback with under a minute left, which I almost didn't even want to happen because I was so mad with how bad they were in the fourth quarter. Tie the game, go into double overtime, and lose anyway. A lot of things happened. They had their entire roster back, so there's that. Joel Embiid, Paul George, and everybody. Still lose to the Hawks without Trae Young, by the way. We're going to talk about all of it, and I want your opinions on it also. Let's go.
Sixers, why won't you just lose and put me out of my misery? Why do you got to keep doing this to me, bro? Nobody else can touch the ball right here. He shoots it from the logo. Oh, we're going to overtime. Tyrese Maxey is a god amongst men.
Welcome back to Run It Back Philly. Sixers Postgame Live, presented by Bright Medical Technology. Bright Medical Technology is Pennsylvania's largest medical supplier and pharmacy, specializing in enteral nutrition, incontinence supplies, ambulatory aids, respiratory products, and diabetic supplies. They work with most PA insurance companies and can deliver anywhere in Pennsylvania. They offer hand delivery services and UPS solutions, servicing patients from all ages. Their call staff, right in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, speaks 15 languages and is always live, never an automated system. Don't forget, they also have generic ED meds so you can get your game back in the bedroom and you don't fall short in double overtime like the 76ers just did. Take her to overtime. If you are unsure where to get your health supplies, call Bright Medical today, 215-725-MEDS. That's 215-725-6337. Or go to brightmedi.com. Thank you to Bright Medical for sponsoring the postgame shows. And they are Sixers sickos. Howie is in the live streams from here from time to time. And shout out to Bright Medical. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Let's get down to business. The Sixers. Wait, where's my... hold on a second. Sorry. Where's my... here we go. The Sixers lose to the Atlanta Hawks 142-134. Now, right before the game, Joel Embiid was ruled in somehow. Joel Embiid was ruled out earlier today. Then he was upgraded to questionable about an hour before the game, and then he was upgraded to in right before the game started. None of that makes any sense to me, but the Sixers had Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey on the floor together for the first time this season. And that's going to take some chemistry. I didn't expect them to look dominant or anything like that. But that is a narrative. The 76ers had all of their guys. I mean, they were still without Kelly Oubre, but for the most part, they had all of their 3 max contracts on the floor. The Atlanta Hawks are playing without Trae Young, who sprained his MCL on October 30th. And the Hawks still beat the Sixers. So that's going to be a storyline that's on the internet tonight and tomorrow, is that the 76ers fully healthy lost to the Hawks without Trae Young. I want to say this, I think, off the top, and I'm going to go through my notes because I have a lot of stuff on the third quarter, the fourth quarter, the first overtime, and the second overtime. My first take is this. Joel Embiid was horrendous defensively and boxing out and getting rebounds. And I knew that was going to happen. He's been horrendous defensively and rebounding any game that he's played this season. But here's the thing. The 76ers are going to ramp him up because it's their only option. He's signed until 2029. And these kind of games are going to happen a lot this season. Because while you could put Andre Drummond in there, who's a much better rebounder, right? Or you could put a Dembona in there, who sometimes is a much better defender. The Sixers, when they have Joel Embiid healthy, they have to try to get him up to speed, even if it's a lost cause, because it's the only thing they can do. It's their only hope, is to get to the playoffs and have Joel Embiid up to speed. So them doing that is going to cost you games this season. And it cost them a game tonight. The fourth quarter, Dyson Daniels had, count them, 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. And really, the run that the Hawks made, well, the Sixers sucked the entire fourth quarter, but the specific run that they made to get back in the game when we were up by 7 was an offensive rebound by Dyson Daniels right in front of Joel Embiid's face, and then he just laid it in, and Joel didn't move. Right? And then another possession, Dyson Daniels missed a layup, got his own rebound, put it back up, missed again, got his own rebound again. He had 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. That's just one example of how bad Joel Embiid was defensively and under the rim, trying to guard the rim and rebound. And I don't think there's a solution for that. But when Joel Embiid's healthy, the 76ers are going to play him to try to get him up to speed. And this is what's going to happen. Paul George, on the other hand, wasn't max contract Paul George in this game by any means. Had some terrible runs late, turnovers, just dropped a rebound out of bounds when the Sixers had a big stop down there in the fourth quarter. Airballed a layup, and like just Paul George was. It was an game for Paul George, if you ask me. So Joel Embiid and Paul George, in my opinion, were not good in this game, and I don't care what the stats show. I'm talking about really watching the game. The Sixers without Tyrese Maxey, if they wouldn't have had Tyrese Maxey in this game, they lose this game by 40. Tyrese Maxey is the only reason they were in this game. They were dead in the water so many times. They were dead in the water so many times, and I think that's my second take, is that Joel Embiid and Paul George owe Tyrese Maxey half of their paycheck every week. He is putting this entire team on his back every night, and now he carries you in the fourth quarter. Nobody could do anything in the fourth quarter. The Atlanta Hawks, the Sixers started the fourth quarter giving up a 13-0 run. Nobody could score. Joel Embiid looked terrible. Paul George looked terrible. And finally, Tyrese Maxey puts the team on his back and legitimately drags you through the fourth quarter, bucket after bucket after bucket, getting in the lane, Euro step, splits the defense, English off the glass, ridiculous finish here, ridiculous finish there, getting to the line, getting physical, drawing contact. Maxey drags your whole team in the fourth quarter. I mean, if you really want to, like, I should make a T-shirt of Tyrese, of like a AI version of Tyrese Maxey dragging a dead Joel Embiid and Paul George across a battlefield, because that's what it was. Gets you to overtime, carries you in overtime, gets you to a second overtime, and just not enough in the second overtime. But Tyrese Maxey is leading the NBA in minutes per game and just put this whole team on his back for what? How many minutes? Do I even want to know? Tyrese Maxey, 52 minutes tonight. He put this team on his back for 52 minutes. And he finished with 44 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists. Joel Embiid put in 18. Paul George gave you 16. Tyrese Maxey, 52 minutes, 44 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. Tyrese is the new Joel Embiid. He has to carry the 76ers every night or they don't stand a chance. And I don't know what the solution is for that. But I just wanted to say that about Tyrese Maxey. Now, speaking of the third quarter, the fourth quarter, overtime, and double overtime. Yes, Tyrese Maxey missed 2 free throws. Was it in overtime? Yes. Tyrese Maxey carried the 76ers in overtime, but he missed 2 free throws. And Jalen Johnson drew a foul with 0.3 to go to send it to a second overtime. And he made both free throws. So that's the only negative on Maxey, is he missed those 2 free throws. And he played 52 minutes. The man's tired. He never stops. Let's start all the way back in the third quarter. We'll do that for the second part of this. I'll just read my notes from the third quarter on so I get it all in order, okay? The Hawks went on a 7-0 run in the third quarter, and the Sixers actually survived. And that was nice to see because they've been collapsing in third quarter since this season started. They are the worst third quarter team in the NBA. They survived a third quarter. They had answers when the Hawks made those runs. They did give up a run at the end of the third as soon as Maxey went off the floor in the final minute or so of the third quarter. And then VJ Edgecombe and Grimes had some nice plays at the end of the third to put us back up by 5. Then the fourth quarter started. The Hawks went on a 13-0 run to start the fourth quarter. Paul George got called for a moving screen where he lowered his shoulder into the defender, and Nick Nurse was at half court screaming at the officials. I'm so tired of watching Nick Nurse scream at officials. I just want him to be fired just for that reason. I don't even care. If he's a good coach, I want him to be fired. I'm so tired of this guy crying the whole game. How about you get your players to play better? Stop bitching at officials all game long. It's the only thing the guy does. Embiid and Paul George were god-awful at the end of the fourth quarter. Paul George dropped a wide-open rebound after the Sixers got a big stop. Then he airballed a layup on the other end, which would have been a fast break 10 years ago, but it was a slow break because he's 35 years old. Tried to Euro step around Jalen Johnson and laid it up. Didn't even touch the rim, and then the ball went off of him out of bounds. Joel Embiid then gives up the offensive rebound to Dyson Daniels and lets him lay it back in right in front of him. Didn't even move, didn't try to block the shot, didn't try to play any defense at all. Dyson Daniels had 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. Grimes hit a three with Grimes shot a three with 16 seconds on the shot clock down late in the fourth quarter around a screen, which was after a timeout. There was a couple of, I guess I'm going to roast Nick Nurse in this video too. And in this podcast episode, and you're listening on audio platforms, thank you for being here on the podcast side of things too. If you want to join us live, we're live after every single game on YouTube. We're live right now. A late timeout in the fourth quarter, the play that somehow got drawn up was Quentin Grimes around an off-ball screen, catch and shoot with 16 on the shot clock. Don't understand that one. He missed it. Dominic Barlow missed a free throw. Paul George got the rebound, kicks it out to Tyrese Maxey, hits a 3 to tie the game. The Sixers were down by 8 with under a minute left. And somebody in the chat called it a fake comeback. They were terrible in the fourth quarter. Maxey wasn't enough, and realistically, they lost the game right there. But somehow they miraculously made a comeback in under a minute. They overcame an 8-point deficit. And that the final play there was the Paul George offensive rebound and kicks it out to Maxey. Maxey hits the 3. What can't Maxey do at this point, you know? And then Nick Nurse tried to call a timeout after the miss by Atlanta on the other side. The refs didn't give him the timeout. Game goes to overtime. Maxey dragging us in overtime, up and under, puts us up 2, tied 119. Jared McCain hit a big 3 there in overtime. Another ridiculous bucket by Maxey to put us up 126 to 125. And Barlow and Joel Embiid play good defense on Jalen Johnson at the end of the first overtime. Well, it should have been. And then they foul Maxey and he misses 2 free throws. Jalen Johnson gets the call and ties the game. I think earlier I said the fourth quarter, but that was overtime. The second overtime was not as good. The Sixers ran out of gas. It was evident they ran out of gas. The 3 plays that stood out to me were Quentin Grimes had a classic Quentin Grimes turnover in overtime where he drove and tried to make some kind of pass underneath the rim. Maxey had a bad turnover. He tried to pass it to Barlow under the rim for some reason. Maxey kicked it out to Barlow for a corner 3 late. I don't know why Dominic Barlow is shooting a corner 3. He can't shoot. He looks like he has a shoulder impingement. He shoots the ball like Caleb Martin when he broke his shoulder last year. I don't know why Maxey's driving and kicking it out to Dominic Barlow and this guy's chucking a 3. Everybody in the world knew that wasn't going in. Terrible play. And the real story of it is the 76ers ran out of gas and stopped playing defense. Now, they sucked defensively a lot of the game. I thought the Sixers were actually really good defensively late in the fourth quarter. After they had that little run and they seemed like they got some momentum, suddenly they were playing high-intensity defense, and that's how they came back from the 8-point deficit and sent it to overtime. But then they ran out of gas. And the second overtime, they were totally out of gas. Besides Tyrese Maxey, everybody was out of gas. Jalen Johnson had back-to-back wide-open threes. And that was pretty much that was the nail in the coffin, the Jalen Johnson back-to-back wide-open threes. But there was another one under there. Jalen Johnson drove and dished to Dyson Daniels under the rim, and nobody was guarding him. And that end of that overtime lineup showed me again the 76ers are not going to be able to play Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain together in the future. They're just not. It's just way too bad defensively. That specific play, not just the two Jalen Johnson wide open threes. And by the way, for those that didn't watch the game, the Nick Nurse's final lineups when Paul George and Joel Embiid were out there was Maxey, McCain, Grimes, Paul George, Embiid, right? And then Paul George and Embiid didn't come back in the second overtime. I guess that was the end of their minutes restriction. And they had Barlow and Bona out there. But it was Maxey, McCain, and Grimes on the floor together. VJ did not go out, so I guess VJ is now on a minutes restriction with the calf strain. But the combination of Maxey and McCain is way too bad defensively. We already know Maxey's not a great defender. He overhelps too much. Sometimes he double teams and just leaves his guy wide open. But that's one thing. You can't have McCain out there at the same time. It was so obvious in that second overtime. Jalen Johnson, the Hawks leading scorer, who put up what? Jalen Johnson, the Hawks leading scorer, who put up 41 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists, was shooting wide open threes in the second overtime. And the Sixers just standing there staring at him. And that final play where Jalen Johnson drives and hits Dyson Daniels under the rim, watch Maxey and McCain on that play. Maxey overhelps, and McCain is just standing in no man's land. And they get a wide open layup in crunch time to put the game away. So I'm telling you, man, like when people were talking about the Sixers drafting all of these 6-foot guards and how they're not going to be playable, this was a perfect example. A modern NBA roster has guys who are really tall, like Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson. And even Nickeil Alexander-Walker is 6'5". It's not going to be possible to play Maxey and McCain together. The Sixers are probably better off realizing that sooner rather than later. And that's pretty much what happened at the end of the game. I thought Quentin Grimes had some terrible takes at late. There was a possession where Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid were all on the floor together, and Quentin Grimes dribbled the whole shot clock out and shot a step-back three. There was a selfish play by Joel Embiid late, maybe in the fourth quarter, maybe in one of the overtimes, where Maxey was kind of cooking like 2 or 3 possessions in a row, and Joel was like, you know what, it's my turn. And Joel took the ball, dribbled the whole shot clock out for a fadeaway elbow jumper and missed it. Just once again, Tyrese Maxey was really the only bright spot in this game. And yeah, he missed the 2 free throws, which is very unlike him. But he played 52 minutes, and he gave you 44, 7, and 9. Another ridiculous performance by Tyrese Maxey, but it wasn't enough to drag the dead corpses of Paul George and Joel Embiid across the finish line. And Jared McCain was also terrible in this game. I mean, god-awful. He couldn't get in rhythm. I felt like he was trying to force things anytime he touched the ball. And I love Jared McCain, and he has to do that because he has to try to get back in rhythm. But it's starting to feel like there's no real spot for Jared McCain on this team, you know? Last year, the 76ers sucked. They were tanking, and they had to go to Jared McCain at certain times, and he was great. But on this team, it's starting to feel like there's not a spot for Jared McCain because, again, the combination of Maxey and him is too bad defensively. But when you got Maxey and Grimes out there and McCain, and they're all trying to create with the ball in their hands, it's too many hands in the fire. It's too many guys trying to create. I would probably trade Jared McCain at the trade deadline. I'm not, and I hate saying that, but I probably would because it feels like it's not a good fit on this team moving forward. Maybe that's premature to say, but that's my honest opinion, obviously, and he has a lot of value if the Sixers want to make a move at the deadline. He has a lot of value. You got to draft guys with size, bro. It's the NBA. You got to draft guys with size, man. You have to. Modern NBA rosters, man. Look at the Houston Rockets. Right? Look at the Detroit Pistons. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Look at all these teams have size. You can't play 4 dudes that are 6'2", bro. You can't. It should be obvious. It should be obvious, man. I want your takes in the chat. Let's do Q&A in the chat for the second half of this post-game show. I want all of your opinions in the chat. Members get first dibs. Super chats get first dibs. Let's do it. But first, this is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, you can get 3 free months of NBA League Pass and $300 in bonus bets if you bet just $5 using promo code RUNITBACK. Go over to DraftKings, use code RUNITBACK, make a $5 bet. If your bet wins, DraftKings is giving you $300 in bonus bets, but even better, they're giving you 3 free months of NBA League Pass. You got to use code RUNITBACK. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's go to the chat, man. Lawrence Talley, what's up, man? Member of Sicko Nation. Shout out to all the members. Thank you so much for the support. Lawrence says, get those guys off the G League team. Who's on the G League team, Lawrence? Who? There's only one guy on the G League team taller than 6'8". And I think it's Darko Milicic's son. He's going to get cooked in the NBA. Let's call it what it is, Lawrence. Milicic, a 6'10", G League center, is getting cooked in the NBA. It's a fact. Kenny Lofton, delete your account, bro. Delete Morris. Go to your YouTube page, click in the top right corner, and press delete account. Kenny Lofton, bro. What are you talking about? You better be trolling, bro. You better be trolling. Douglas Thompson. Who would be a good replacement for Nick Nurse? Do you think Mike Malone would coach the 76ers if asked? The Mike Malone thing, man. It's kind of, I think it's a Bill Belichick, Tom Brady thing. I think the real answer is Nikola Jokic. And I think Mike Malone got credited for some kind of genius for that because him and Jokic designed the offense together around Jokic. But Nikola Jokic is just a basketball mastermind. And he's so damn good at his size. They built the roster correctly around him. They won a championship with it. But I don't think Mike Malone is some kind of genius NBA coach that's going to change something or do something any different than Nick Nurse did. If he has the roster to win, when you got Jamal Murray playing the way he was playing that year, and Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic, of course, and then you can win. But I don't think Mike Malone is marginally better than Nick Nurse. I think they're both kind of win-now coaches. They're not going to elevate young talent out of nowhere. Mike Malone might be a little bit better than Nick Nurse, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm no on Nick. I'm no on Mike Malone. Who would be a good replacement for Nick Nurse? I'll tell you who. A chimpanzee would be a good replacement for Nick Nurse. A Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic. A stuffed animal. A Make-A-Wish kid. Who else would be better than Nick Nurse? My 10-year-old son. Bob the Cat would be better than Nick Nurse. Yeah, basically anybody. Basically anybody would be better than Nick Nurse. I'm so tired of watching Nick Nurse. It's unbelievable. All he does is screams at officials the whole game. He doesn't actually coach. Oh, by the way, the end of the game when the Sixers had 0.3 on the shot clock, not that this not on the game clock. When they had 0.3 on the game clock, not that this matters a whole lot because you're probably not converting in that situation. But you're telling me Nick Nurse drew up a play for Joel Embiid to inbound the ball and lob it to Dominic Barlow. That's the play he came up with. Not somebody that can jump. Not a Dembona, not VJ Edgecombe. No, he came up with, I'm going to have Joel Embiid lob the ball to Dominic Barlow. That's the Nick Nurse special. And again, another play out of a timeout was a drawn-up play for Quentin Grimes, who chucked a three behind a screen with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Nick Nurse is terrible. And I'm so sick of watching him scream at officials because he doesn't coach. He doesn't coach. You can see it. These dudes are getting cooked out here. How is Jalen Johnson standing around shooting wide open threes? What is your defensive strategy? What are you saying to these guys? Meanwhile, he's just yelling at the ref the whole game. And then guess what? The referee didn't give him the timeout at the end of the fourth quarter. Probably because they tune you out, bro. You cry to the officials all game long, and then you're mad you didn't get a timeout call at the end. They stopped listening to you at halftime, dude. He didn't know you were calling a timeout. He thought you were just bitching like you always bitch. You just bitch the whole game. Maybe if you would shut the fuck up and coach sometimes, the referees would give you a timeout call. God, bro. And I couldn't stand that about Nick Nurse from all the way when he was in Toronto. Remember when Joel Embiid told him to stop bitching? All he does is stands on the sideline and cries the whole game. God. Anyway, what else we got in the chat, man? McCain, Edwards, and a second for Anthony Black and Jonathan Isaac. Why would the Magic trade Anthony Black for a second-round pick? The Orlando Magic just beat us without Paolo Banchero by 41 points. Anthony Black had like 30 points in that game. Anthony Black just had a game-saving defensive play last night on an intentional miss by Cade Cunningham that got kicked out to the three-point line, and Anthony Black was right in the rights. Do you understand how good Anthony Black actually is? They're not trading him for that. Dare I say Brett Brown has been the best Sixers coach since Larry Brown, and I never thought I would say that. Brett Brown was horrible also. So that doesn't really mean anything. Let's go and get Jordy Fernandez from Brooklyn. All right, any Q&A in the chat that's not a trade? You guys got any takes on the game? Any thoughts on the Sixers? Anything they should do, they should not do? Even though Sabonis may not be a great paint defender, he got size, and honestly, we're talking about a Sabonis trade. Is Sabonis fixing this team's issues? I guess rebounding issues, sure, but how are you getting Sabonis? At the end of the day, the Sixers don't have the athletes or personnel necessary to compete in the NBA. Paul George was also just jogging out there, which he, along with Embiid, will be doing until 2029. Shout out Dicey2126, man. That is facts. That's cool, motherfucker, boy. Yeah. What's the solution? What's the solution for these guys, man? We're not winning anything this year. Trade McCain and a pick to get into the 2026 draft. Well, the Sixers are. I don't see them doing it, man. Because, again, you would need the GM to go against himself to do that. The only way any of this is getting changed is when Daryl Morey finally gets fired and then another GM comes in and tries to change things. Daryl Morey isn't going to try to change things. It's in his best interest to continue to believe that they have a winning roster. It's in his best interest to continue to believe that they have a winning roster. I think VJ deserved more minutes than McCain in this game. I think VJ's on a minutes restriction, so add him to the list of minutes restrictions. With Commanders done, is Josh Harris going to let Bob Myers cook in Philly? What is he waiting for? With Commanders done, the Commanders are done. What does that mean? They're out this year? I haven't been paying attention to the Commanders or a lot of the NFL, honestly. Is Josh Harris going to... Well, I think that is what's going to happen. And thanks for bringing that up, Cam, and thank you for being a member of Sicko Nation. I think that is what's going to happen. If I had to make a real prediction, because anybody with a brain knows this team isn't winning this year. Like, you know what I mean? How stupid do they actually think we are? Every real Sixers fan watching these games and watching Joel Embiid limp out there every 10 games and Paul George go out there whenever he wants, once a week, which, by the way, this was a Sunday, so this is technically the start of a new week, so Paul George won't play until after next Sunday because he only plays once a week for 20 minutes. What actual Sixers fan is watching this garbage and thinking this team is going to put it together and win something? Nobody. And so if I had to make a prediction, I do think that's why Josh Harris started to slide Bob Myers in there. Pause. And now Bob Myers is working for Josh Harris, overseeing all of his sports teams, allegedly. But yeah, if this doesn't work out, Daryl Morey's gone, Nick Nurse is gone, Bob Myers is the GM. And at least Bob Myers had a hand in building the 2016 Golden State Warriors. At least Bob Myers knows something about roster balance, salary cap balance, not paying 35-year-old guys $200 million. But I do think it would be, I think it's a sensible prediction to predict that Bob Myers ends up being in the GM spot for the Sixers in the near future. Let's go over to Twitter and see what the Twitter reporters are saying before we get out of here, man. Let's go to my Sixers Twitter reporter list, see if there's anything in here we can react to, man. Let's see. Aaron Aronson. Oh my God! If you're listening on the podcast, you can't hear what I just witnessed. I'm going to read it to you. Okay? Now brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. If you're on audio form and you didn't see this yet, brace yourselves. Paul George finally comes back. Plays 2 games in 1 week. Well, technically, this is the start of his second week. And Adam Aronson, Sixers reporter, lets us know Paul George experienced some back tightness after logging a season-high 28 minutes tonight, but says his body feels good. He asked for more minutes because of the way the game was going and how his body was feeling. He played the first minute and change of overtime and did not play the second overtime. Paul George, coming back from knee surgery, where, don't forget, he injured himself during a workout. Nobody was near him. He was by himself on the court. Had to have knee surgery, okay? He's 34 years old. Came back from that knee surgery, played a couple of games, and then was out with a ghost sprained right ankle that nobody saw happen, and nobody knows if that's true or not. And now he plays a whopping 28 minutes and has back tightness. Hang it up! Paul George, take your shoes off, tie the laces together, and hang them up. It's over, bro. Why won't these guys... You know what? I should say why won't... I shouldn't say why won't these guys retire. The answer is because Daryl Morey gave him another $200 million. Paul George probably would have retired. But he said, I'm not going to say no to another $200 million, and I can just go out there and play once a week, jog around for 20 minutes, and podcast for $50 million a year. That is insane. I did not expect to see that. The worst part about this loss is that we don't know if Paul George and Embiid are going to be available for next game. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Who cares? Who cares if Paul George and Joel Embiid are available for next game? I don't care. Do you guys care? Who cares? What else we got, man? Adam says Tyrese Maxey did not have a ton to say during his post game on his missed free throws. That's what I get for messing with VJ. So, I mean, Maxey made a joke about him missing 2 free throws in a row. But let's call it what it is. Andre Drummond was ruled out at halftime. Drummond was sore. Hey, shout out to Andre Drummond for coming back and playing in this game. I want to say that. Because every other loser on this roster, not everyone, but there's a couple of big-time losers on this roster that would bang knees like Andre Drummond did last game and would be out for a month. Cough, cough, podcast P. Andre Drummond comes back the next game. He was supposed to be out for 2 weeks with a knee injury. He came back the next game. Can't be mad at Andre for that. Shout out to Andre for that. What else we got, man? They win this game. If Drummond could have played real minutes, he wouldn't have been in the game. He wouldn't have been in the game. Drummond wouldn't have been in the game. Get him up to speed so they can prove to everybody that they have a winning roster, which everybody knows they don't. Everybody with a brain knows it's over, but they're going to try it because it's their only choice because they made the mistake of signing the extension until 2029. Drummond wouldn't have been in the game. Spike Eskin, if Embiid is going to play, he's got to at least attempt to play defense and rebound. Just try a little. He does. He really doesn't, man. He gets in the game and just stands there, bro. The Dyson Daniels, if you guys didn't watch this game, if you're listening on podcast the next day or if you're watching the YouTube stream the next day and you didn't watch this game, go watch the fourth quarter and overtime. And go watch especially that possession where Dyson Daniels gets an offensive rebound right in front of Joel Embiid. It was the fourth quarter. He had 4 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter with Joel Embiid just standing there. Just go watch it. I'm telling you, it was horrendous. I think that's it for our reporters. Jalen Johnson gave us 41 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. Sixers left him wide open for 3 2 times in a row in double overtime. Yeah. Hell of a basketball game. Sixers lose in double overtime. Hell of a basketball game. For the most part, it was a disgusting basketball game. I don't know what he's talking about. We're so buns. Also, the refs are stupid. Nah, we're buns. I don't care about the refs. Mid-season firing the coach to me is a go. I'm not really interested in watching us try and win a chip. I want a development coach. They're not going to do that. They're not going to move Embiid and Paul George to the bench. You think the Sixers, Josh Harris, who is interested in making money, is going to fire the coach and put 2 $50 million players on the bench to develop young talent? It sounds good. It's not a smart business plan. Josh Harris has to sell tickets. That ain't selling tickets. That's selling no tickets. How confident are you in Morey's that he'll trade at least okay solid players before the trade deadline? Sixers don't have anyone to trade. They have Jared McCain to trade. If they don't trade Jared McCain, they're not trading anybody. You can't trade Paul George. You can't trade Joel Embiid. They have no assets to give up to get players at the trade deadline, and I don't think they should be trying to get players at the trade deadline because this team is done until Joel Embiid's contract is up. They shouldn't be making any panic trades at the deadline. Now, if they do, I would be mad at Daryl Morey for that because that would be Daryl Morey trying to salvage his job over what's right for the future of this team. Like, say, for example, if he would give up the 2028 Clippers unprotected first-round pick for a player at the deadline when you know this team ain't going anywhere until that Joel Embiid contract is up, that would piss me off because that's Daryl Morey trying to salvage his job versus what's right for the team moving forward. And if he's going to do that, you need to fire him before he has a chance to do it. Because realistically, the 76ers are in a rebuilding phase. They won't admit it, but they are. And they need to build around Maxey and VJ as much as they can until Joel Embiid is off of the books. That's just the reality of it. But they can't go giving up an unprotected 2028 first-round Clippers pick because the Clippers pick is valuable because the Clippers suck. And speaking of the Clippers sucking, the Oklahoma City Thunder are probably about to have a top 4 pick in the draft from the 76ers this year. Not a top 4 protected. They're about to have a first-round pick from the 76ers this year. Unless it's in the top 4, then the Sixers would get it. And the Oklahoma City Thunder have the Clippers unprotected first-round picks. So the Oklahoma City Thunder are about to possibly have 2 top 10 first-round draft picks this season. And they're already dominating the NBA and just won a championship. Nick Nurse wastes so much time screaming at the refs, he loses focus on the action. I don't think he actually focuses on the action at all. I don't think he focuses on the action at all, man. 76ers are the most painful team alive. Every season is hope, injuries, chaos, blown leads, heartbreak. Loving this team is a lifelong stress contract that never ends. It is. I completely agree, man. I completely agree. The NBA can't allow it? Sure they can, man. OKC fleeced everybody. Sam Presti fleeced everybody. He fleeced everybody. He fleeced the Clippers with the SGA trade. He even fleeced the Sixers with the Al Horford trade. He fleeced everybody. This next year, Grimes will be gone, so McCain might be more important next year. I'm not seeing it defensively. I'm not seeing it defensively, man. Any other takes in the chat before I get out of here? Questions, comments, concerns, hot takes. Ask me a question in the chat. Any question about anything. Doesn't even have to be sports related. What do you think our record is at the end of the year, and who is on the team in 5 years that's still on the team now? 5 years. VJ Edgecombe, still on the team in 5 years. Tyrese Maxey will be 30 years old in 5 years. And in 3 years, he'll be up for a Supermax extension. But if the Sixers continue on the path that they're on, of false hope and, claiming that Joel Embiid's going to be healthy and they're refusing to build around Tyrese Maxey, Rich Paul's going to request a trade way before that happens. Tyrese Maxey might not be on the Sixers in 5 years. VJ Edgecombe, probably. Maybe not even him. Damn, I'm being so negative, but that's if this continues the way that it's going, that's how I'm seeing it. What will their record be at the end of the year? Good question, man. Let's go over to let's do that. Good question. Thank you for that. Let's do that. Let's go over to the Sixers on ESPN.com and look at their record now. Let's look at their record now. Let's look at, since starting the season 4-0, the Sixers have gone, let's see, 1-1, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5, 5-6. Hold on. 1-1, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5, 4-6, 5-6, 5-7, 5-8, 6-8, 6-9. Since starting the season 4-0, the Sixers have gone 6-9. And don't forget, they beat Boston, who's not good this season, Charlotte, Orlando, and Washington. Those were those 4 wins. They've gone 6-9 since then. And if we were going to go by math, 6-9 is what percentage? Let's do math with Eastwood. 6-9, 6 divided by 9. 9 divided by 6. 6-9 is 66%, right? Am I doing that right? I'm trying to. What would their? They'll be about. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do the math there, dude. It's too late, and it's on a Sunday. 29-52. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. 6-9, 12-18, 18-24, 24-30. What's that? Is that 54 games? 30 and 36. That's 66 games. 36 and 72. 36 and 72, that's way more than... It's too late. I don't know what I'm saying, man. Stop talking about stupid trade. Bro, that's all they put in the chat, bro. That's all they put in the chat. Trade for Anthony Davis. Yeah, great idea. Another guy that never plays. Fucking genius idea, bro. Now Boston is ahead of them in the Atlantic Division. Divisions don't really matter. The Sixers aren't going anywhere. They might not even make the playoffs, dude. My biggest concern for 76ers fans right now is how many minutes Maxey's currently logging. Philadelphia has always been a championship city. Has it? Before 2017, the Eagles hadn't won a Super Bowl since 1960. The Sixers haven't won a championship since 1983. The Eagles won again. The Eagles have 2 Super Bowls since 1960. That's 65 years. That's 2 wins in 65 years for the Eagles. And the Sixers haven't won a championship in 40 years. Combined, that's 110 years. 2 championships. Oh yeah, that wasn't even a Super Bowl back then. That was called an NFL championship. That's all I got, man. Thank you guys so much. You should quit the stream. So much for hanging out. Thank you for tuning in. Another Sixers loss. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. We'll see what happens moving forward, man.